Come on back into another episode of Game Runs Deep. That has been Garrett. I'm Sudu Upadhyay. We are back after a thrilling Week 6 of college football. Saw some upsets we didn't think we'd get to see. Miami is who I thought they were.
Yes,
Ben had to text me and be like, hey, man, you were right. Just an incredible week of college football. First of all, Ben, what's up, man? What's new in your world?
I'm so mad at myself. Everyone that watches Game Runs Deep saw last week how tortured I was.
Yeah.
How convicted I was that the Florida Gators would be my upset pick over Texas. And yet I went with Florida State over Miami, mainly because I didn't think Miami was that team. I was wrong. That is the best team in college football right now. Carson Beck is playing just as well, if not better, than most every other quarterback in college football right now. Ty Simpson did come through for us.
Yes, he
Ty
did.
Simpson is that guy. Ole Miss
Even though we picked against him. Now, officially, I was the one who picked Vandy as the upset, but both you and I, we were some.
I didn't pick Vanderbilt to beat Alabama last week. I didn't do that. But everyone knows who watches Game Runs Deep or watches my podcast every day on Talk of Champions. I'm a big Vanderbilt Diego Pavia guy. Diego did not have a good day on Saturday.
No,
he did not have a good day, forced some things, and Ty Simpson was every bit the quarterback we built him to be in that game. Now, he could fall off. Of course he could. But in terms of if you're ranking the best quarterbacks in football right now, Ty Simpson is in that top 5 for you, and he showed it against Vanderbilt. Poise was incredible. They're running offense through him, not around him. And honestly, he's being let down a little bit by some of his supporting cast. I think Ryan Williams has got to step up. He really does. Because
dropping way too many balls, man.
Too many balls.
And although, I'll give Williams some credit. I mean, he had some good catches, but like for his ceiling and the type of player,
you are.
Right. Can't be doing that. Yeah. Well, let's just start there because I think the biggest thing for Bama, Vandy was this was in no shape or form reflective at of the final score of that game. Like Vanderbilt was in full control for a lot of that game, or they were neck and neck. It was one or the other. And it ultimately came down to Diego Pavia, I mean, with his arm, right? Like we know that he is a gamer and he has what it takes to win. But I don't think Vanderbilt's the type of team that can play from behind in an environment like Tuscaloosa. The biggest reason being Diego Pavia's arm. That 2 turnovers in the red zone, that interception late in I believe that was the fourth quarter. That was the breaker, right? That one was what resulted in the long drive for Alabama where they brought out my guy. Good God, why am I forgetting Brody's name?
Well, here's the thing about the Vanderbilt,
the
man.
tackle.
I mean, this is not the Vanderbilt of Woody Woodenhofer. This is not the Vanderbilt of old, right?
Nice, Woody Woodenhofer.
In the old days, no one's even paying attention to Vanderbilt going to Alabama on a Saturday, on a game day Saturday, because Alabama's going to beat the brakes off of them. And these were 2 pretty evenly matched teams. And we don't talk enough about Clark Lea as a real candidate for any open
Why'd you say
job
his
that
name
comes
like
open.
that? It's Clark Lea.
I always say that. I always mess it up. Because it's L-E-A.
You just want to be different.
My middle name is
Clark
Lee.
Lea.
My middle name is Lee, L-E-E. So when I saw Clark Lee's spelling, I thought it was Lea, and I've said it ever since, even though I've been corrected multiple times, including now on Game Runs Deep. So thank you. Clark Lea deserves to be mentioned in any and all potential job openings at the end of the year. Because of what he's done at Vanderbilt is nothing short of remarkable. And they were on even footing with Alabama. That just shows you the growth of Alabama. It wasn't about Vanderbilt pulling an old Vanderbilt kind of thing against Alabama and Tuscaloosa. It's what you just pointed to. 2 red zone turnovers. We're talking about football reasons as to why Vanderbilt didn't beat Alabama on Saturday. What a remarkable frame of reference that is for where college football is now, that Vanderbilt can go to Tuscaloosa and we can get a great game in what other years would have been an off week. Oh, maybe Vandy, poor hapless Vandy. But no, Vanderbilt competed its tail off. It's just you can't turn the ball over twice in the red zone. And the last one in the fourth quarter, the interception was the killer. But I was really impressed with Ty Simpson, and Clark Lea is one of the very best coaches in football. He needs to be considered for any and all openings. I hope Vanderbilt is able to keep him. I'm so impressed with what he's done there and really turned a program that was the doormat, unquestionable doormat of the SEC forever, now into an every year competent, competitive, fun football team there in Nashville. So credit to them, but Alabama answered a lot of our questions, Sudu, starting with Ty Simpson, who we praised last week, and he only continues to ascend.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Quickly going back to Clark Lea there, I think something else you have to give him credit for is the fact that when Pavia came in, they brought in Jerry Kill from New Mexico State, right? Mm-hmm. They brought it, and to me, that's like, shout out to Clark Lea for knowing like what he's good at and what he needed to improve on, and being able to bring Jerry Kill in and say, hey, come on in, run this offense, bringing in your quarterback anyways. I think that's been a big key to Vandy's success, has been like, why are they so much better on offense? And I think that's why. And there's a lot of coaches, we know some of them personally, that wouldn't do that or would be intimidated to bringing someone else in. I'm not naming names. Be intimidated to bringing in someone or giving someone else credit. And Clark Lea, like, that is the ultimate coach. That's why I've always liked Dabo, despite his faults in adapting to this new world of college football. Dabo's strength has always been being able to bring in coordinators that know more than him, and him just running the program as a CEO and letting everybody else kind of do their thing. And I think Clark Lea has been pretty good at that and bringing in Jerry Kill and what they've done, the success they've had the last couple of years. But you talk about the credit you got to give Clark Lea. I need to apologize to Kalen DeBoer. Okay, I've been a fan of Kalen DeBoer's. Okay, it's been on the record, been a fan of his since I discovered the guy. But I did say, I think it was maybe the first or second episode of this podcast, and I thought maybe he's not the right fit for Bama. Too nice, doesn't have what it takes to maybe thrive in the SEC. And I was completely wrong about this guy. He's got a reputation for being a nice guy. He's a silent killer, okay? He may not be Nick Saban. He may not be, have that same level of intensity and intimidate you like Saban does. But that black hoodie means something, folks. And Kalen DeBoer is a silent killer. He's 13-2 in ranked versus ranked matchups. Okay, he's got all the other. You can go look at his overall records, which are glowing. But this is what matters to me. When he's ranked and his opponent is ranked, he tends to come out on the better side of that. I absolutely love him. I think he's awesome. I let that lackadaisical press conference after the loss of Florida State somehow cloud my judgment and opinion on him. And he's proving everyone wrong.
In your defense, that was a bad press conference.
It
wasn't a good day, but also, he has more important and pressing considerations than a press conference with us media folks. So give him a pass on that.
But don't take that at his personality and the way he talks, and don't take that to mean that he's not a killer. Okay.
That he doesn't have that competitive fire and that dog in him. And you never want to be the guy that replaces the guy.
Right.
How cool of a story it will be if Kalen DeBoer just breaks that chain. Because that would be an incredible story, replacing the greatest football coach in the history of the sport. And yes, you're not winning like Alabama did under Nick Saban, but this is a completely different environment of college football.
Yep.
What Nick Saban dominated it doesn't exist anymore. So for Kalen DeBoer, I'm glad you brought him up. He deserves so much credit because we were very hard on him. All the things we said after that loss to Florida State, in that bad press conference in regards to you don't want to be the guy to replace the guy. How Dabo would make sense as the next coach of Alabama, all of those things. Kalen DeBoer is not going to go undefeated at Alabama. But what he is going to do is keep you in the college football playoff discussion every single year. Even last year when you lost to Vanderbilt, you thought the world had come to an end. This year you celebrate that win because you know what Vanderbilt is about now. You know as an Alabama fan who Diego Pavia is. You know that team is capable of coming into Tuscaloosa and beating your team because parity reigns in college football. It did not reign in college football when Nick Saban was dominating. Not to say Nick Saban still wouldn't have had the same, if not even more success. I would argue he wouldn't because parity. Right. I mean, it's an even playing field. It's completely leveled out. And Kalen DeBoer is a perfect blend of coach that, yes, he's not going to be Nick Saban's undefeated teams, dominant teams. Alabama's Alabama. But as long as you're in the race, as long as you get in that race every single year, that's all you can ask for. And he's kept them there, kept them competitive. Even when last year there were letdown games, this year they're winning those type of games. And you have to judge him not against the backdrop of Nick Saban, but on his own merits and on his own merits in this environment in college football. Props to Kalen DeBoer. He is breaking the chain of you don't want to be the guy to replace the guy. And Saturday was a great test for him because Diego Pavia and Clark Lea, if they were called the Florida Gators instead of the Alabama Crimson Tide, everybody would be talking about, well, should we take Alabama seriously as a top contender again today? But because it's Vanderbilt and old biases die hard, you're not. But that was a good football team. And Kalen DeBoer had him ready, and he has an ascending quarterback. Alabama looks like one of the bigger threats in college football this year, and most all of that credit should go to him, who has had an unenviable and unprecedented task. And yet he continues, even when adversity comes, he responds and gets it done. So, yes, hat tip to one Kalen DeBoer. If we're going to do weekend winners like that, Kalen DeBoer being one of the weekend winners, can we just give a weekend winner to the Florida Gators? Can we just give them one? Can we give them some love?
100%.
man, they've been through the ringer, and there's nobody more dangerous than Billy Napier when his job's on the line. The man gets wins when his job is on the line. I know there's so much to talk about in regards to Texas and Arch. They've fallen out of the top 25 deservedly. So has Penn State deservedly. Remember last week, Sudu, when I said that preseason rankings need to go the way of the dinosaur?
Each week, we've been saying that since like the first episode.
Yes,
right? And each week it just keeps getting proven. And also, they got to look. If we're gonna make these, first of all, preseason rankings need to go, but also the AP voters, the people that have the ballots, that's got to change too, because this is starting to get ridiculous. But how bad every week the AP poll looks, and I don't remember it being that bad in the past. But I think they've opened it up to so many writers and stuff now that. I know these guys aren't watching all the games.
Haven't opened it up to us, and we would say I would turn my invitation down because I don't believe
I think I would turn it down too, and I probably watch more college football than a lot of people with votes.
But I don't feel comfortable saying that I know as much about these other teams as I do other teams. So,
heck no.
And honestly, you can just kind of put them all in a cup together, all in a bucket together. There is not a dominant team in college football. I mean, I feel like a broken record at this point. But that's what makes it so thrilling, so awesome, so fun to where, yes, Florida, of course they could with a former five-star parade All-American at quarterback with DJ Lagway, who has struggled this year. He puts it together one night with a desperate Billy Napier against an underwhelming Texas team with Arch Manning, who does not look right.
Right.
Absolutely they can win. And for them to get that win is so important and so big. And Florida's only going to continue to get better. It's not an obvious going to happen outcome.
Yeah.
That Billy Napier is no longer the head coach of Florida at the end of the year. That is not a guaranteed thing. Because the bottom line is just like last year when Florida State and Mike Norvell can go 2-11 and then turn around and be in the college football playoff discussion a year later, it doesn't take much to fix teams anymore. You don't have to wait 3 years. Lane Kiffin said this on the SEC teleconference last year. You don't have to wait around to rebuild, wait on your freshman and sophomore to become upperclassmen. All you have to do is be smart with the money that is available to you, ready to you, smart with your resources, and you can turn it around as quickly as a few months. Yep. And that includes in season. Not to say Florida's about to go on some run. I think it says more about Texas has just got real problems. And I've never been a big Sark believer, and that is only continuing to get proven to me over and over again. Texas has a lot of question marks for a program that has no business being unranked, but because of underwhelming play, including a quarterback that just looks bad, quite frankly, they deserve to be where they are, but we got a lot of questions about them. I'm not saying Florida beating that team means they're going to make a run for the history books here. I'm just saying they could.
Florida finally did what I've been asking for Florida to do all season. They gave the damn ball to Jaden Ball. 27 carries. 27 carries. And look, 107 yards on 27 carries. It's not the most efficient running style, but it keeps your offense moving. You don't have those ridiculous interceptions or incomplete passes or sacks that DJ Lagway had been struggling with. You give this guy the football, whether it's 3 yards or 2 yards, it keeps your offense moving. It keeps you on schedule, keeps you in rhythm. And I thought that was a huge factor in this game. Yeah, I mean, Jaden Ball, like some of those runs where he'd have a defender in the backfield in his face, he'd make a man miss, it would only be 2 yards, but guess what? It wasn't -2. Mm-hmm. It wasn't -3. It kept you on schedule. That was a big deal. We've said it on this podcast before, and I think it was going into maybe, I forgot what game it was. We maybe going to the Miami game. I talked about the Florida defense, and I think up to that point, they had only allowed 2 touchdowns on the season. And I was like, this defense needs more freaking credit. Like, everybody's trashing Florida because of their losses, but they're not talking about how elite that defense is. Dude, that defense, I was texting a buddy of mine, another Ole Miss guy, and he was texting me about Florida, and I said, dude, that defense is better than LSU's defense. I was saying that going into the Ole Miss LSU game. I'm like, I don't think this LSU defense is going to be the toughest one Ole Miss has to face. And I was texting him, and I said, remember what I told you about Florida's defense? He finally was like, you know what, dude? I think you're right. Don't get me wrong. Texas has its issues. They couldn't run the football. Arch Manning had 15 carries for 37 yards. The next best performance was running back Quintravion Wisner, 8 carries for 11 yards. They can't run the football, okay? But Florida's defense caused a lot of those issues. So what Florida showed me in that game against Texas was, as long as their offense is somewhat efficient, this season could turn around for Florida. They could win 7 games, whereas before it looked like maybe 5, maybe 4. They could get to 7. If their defense continues to play the way they did, they give Jaden Ball the football, and Lagway doesn't really turn the ball over. Lagway was efficient, 21 for 28, 298 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick. If he'd been playing like that all
season, still hate the pick. But if you're playing like that all year, I mean, this is a college football playoff contender.
They would be ranked right now if they'd been playing like that all season long.
Right. I mean, the 5 interceptions, even with 5 interceptions, it was a one-score game. I mean, you know what I mean, for DJ Lagway. Let's not pretend like this team isn't capable enough. Now,
their defense can carry them as long as the offense just gives them something, man.
Absolutely. And Sudu said that. I mean, he'd been beating that drum for weeks, man, about how Florida's defense is legitimate and should be we should take them seriously if DJ Lagway can just – I mean, you got to ride with the 5-star parade All-American. He's your best option. You just got to hope he figures it out. Now, if they only end up with 7 wins –
Can we talk about Dallas Wilson too, by the way?
In a minute. But if they only get to 7 wins, that's not going to be enough for Billy Napier to keep his job.
No,
it's not.
Absolutely not.
It's not.
No.
But the idea that all of a sudden that's going to turn into Lane Kiffin and DJ Lagway, I disagree. I firmly disagree. I think all the Florida obsession with Lane Kiffin, you're going to be disappointed like LSU was, like Alabama was, like USC again was. Pick your school. Auburn, certainly, really. Auburn's the number one here. I think you're going to deal with the same type of disappointment because what you are paying out and what you would have to pay Lane Kiffin, plus the uniqueness of his situation at Ole Miss and what you would have to build out for him from a structural standpoint is completely unprecedented at your school. Here he's got the ideal situation completely for him. He has got full program autonomy. And Florida fan, you will not give him full program autonomy. Yes, we will. No, you won't. The minute he only goes 5-5, just like he did the first year for Ole Miss in an all-SEC schedule during COVID, you'll go, well, that's not what I signed up for.
Very few programs, man. That's why we keep beating that drum of, look, he's not going to leave. When he didn't leave for Auburn,
it's ridiculous.
Before
he's
the Auburn situation,
$10 million to do whatever the hell he wants to do. Right. Florida, you're not going to give him that.
Florida won't. Auburn wouldn't do it.
Now, Florida? If you'd asked me back when he was first hired, he's been at Ole Miss 6 years. That's unprecedented. No one thought he'd be here 6 years.
Right.
Now, considering how long he's been here, his entire family is here. They all live beside each other in the same neighborhood. They've quite literally laid down roots that they otherwise would not have. You would be destroying roots that have been laid down. Not to say that he couldn't, because back when it first started, when he first got hired at Ole Miss, when people were saying, well, Ben, how long do you think he'll be here? Over and over again, I'd say, well, I think he'll be here at least 3 years. And the school I'd watch for is Florida.
Yep.
I would say that.
Yep.
Now, it's a completely different world. So if you're a Florida fan, of course you should dream about Lane Kiffin. Of course you should. But be ready to be disappointed. And you'll say, oh, that's just the stupid Ole Miss homer telling. No, I'm trying to let you know what's good, what I know to be true and has been true for 5 years now, 5+ years now. I've covered every one of these pursuits. I know the ones Lane actually gauged the other team on, right? Including LSU, but they didn't want to have anything to do with him.
I was going to say, that was the one that I was the most scared of. If LSU would have actually sent in the offer, that would have been the one.
Yeah, he was really – he wanted to be a part of that conversation. Just like Chris Beard wanted to be a part of the conversation for the Texas A&M job in the offseason, went down the road at a place where that's home, Texas is home, and he ended up staying at Ole Miss. At some point, all of you other fan bases are going to have to stop thinking about Ole Miss as little Ole Miss and what they actually are, right? They have a top 5 coaching pairing with Chris Beard and Lane Kiffin. And both of those guys are being compensated not only fairly, as in what they should be, like market rate, going market rate, above and beyond. Not to mention from the financial point of view, as far as their family and their personal lives. Landry goes here. Yes, she's dating Whit Weeks, you weirdos. Stop talking about teenagers dating. This is weird. But she goes to Ole Miss. Knox Kiffin, who I now produce a podcast for goodness sake.
I was going to say, what a ride. What a journey for Ben Garrett right there.
Yeah, he's a kid. And like he's a kid, you know what I mean? And like, it's weird to have that obsession about all of that stuff when you really think in the real factors that actual human beings consider. It's going to be overwhelmingly difficult, if not impossible, for Florida to pull that off. But hey, look, you can take a swing too. Everyone else has.
Everything is possible. Anything is possible in college football.
But the bullishness in which you're talking on social media and in comments and on message boards, you're setting yourself up. I'm not going to say you're stupid for doing so. I'm not going to say it's embarrassing and desperate. I'm not going to say any of that. I'm going to say you're setting yourself up for disappointment, friend. Not to say that he wouldn't take it, because I still think that we all have got to consider all things all the time, because in the drop of a hat, Ole Miss can get tired of them too. But
Sure.
They're nowhere close to that. It's more likely that he retires as Ole Miss's head coach than goes to Florida.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you ask me what would be the real threat for Lane Kiffin leaving, let Brian Daboll get fired by the Giants.
Yeah. I could see NFL. I've always said that since he got to Ole Miss, when he didn't get the Florida job the first time, when
That's
I
right.
think Napier came in, he didn't leave for LSU. After those two, I said, you know what? I think the guy's going to want another NFL shot at some point. Because his dream job was USC, and they did him dirty. I could never see him make amends and go back down that road again. There's 2 jobs or 3 jobs that I could think of that Lane Kiffin would leave for. One would be Bama, one would be Texas, the other would be Ohio State. But how many of those programs are giving someone like him full control and autonomy? To me, that's the biggest thing, is he's gotten so used to doing everything his way, the way he wants to do it, the way he wants to talk, the way he wants to market, that those programs are not about the coach, they're about that program.
That's
Their
right.
entire identity. Ohio State is the Ohio State University. Texas is that Longhorn logo. Alabama is that Crimson A. Like, they're not, and Nick Saban, Bear Bryant, I know, larger-than-life people, but at the end of the day, it's about that program. Ole Miss, as much as I love Ole Miss, I grew up in Oxford, love Ole Miss ain't about the script read Ole Miss. It's about the personality that's the coach there. That's really what it's about.
And the community. I would add to that, because when
No
you
doubt.
think of Ole Miss, you don't just think about the product on the field. You think
Right.
to your point, you think about Lane Kiffin's cult of personality and all the things that make Ole Miss special, like the fellowship, the Grove, I mean, if you're an opposing fan,
Right.
come to Ole Miss for a day and go to a game, and I promise you, 99% of people will hold the door open for you. They'll offer you some fruit from their tent and say, I hope you have a good time at the game outside of the final score.
Yeah, the culture, the community aspect of it, right? I 100% agree.
And
Yep.
and Lane's embraced that. Not just Lane either. His brother Chris, who coached here before, he's an analyst at Ole Miss. Do y'all not see how ridiculous it is that Ole Miss, the one you call Little Ole Miss, has Chris Kiffin as an analyst, Joe Judge as an analyst? You know, I can
Which
keep
still
going.
blows my mind as a Giants guy. The Joe
But
Judge
it shows you that Ole Miss isn't your little Ole Miss opposing fan that you think, oh, we'll just go poach your coach.
Right.
That's not that. If anything, you are behind Ole Miss right now. Do you have more resources, Florida? Absolutely, you have more resources. Do you have the same type of commitment and fervor? Absolutely not. Because I don't think that, just like Ole Miss has school teachers who don't make a lot of money each month. I'm married to one, a third-grade math teacher. She does hand and feet of Jesus stuff every day. I'm so thankful for her, but it ain't making her a millionaire. I see what the paycheck is. It's bad, right? We should pay teachers more. That seems pretty basic to me. But knowing what they make, they still, not my wife, she doesn't know two craps about anything sports, which is beautiful, but a lot of teachers, I know them at Amory, Pontotoc, North Pontotoc, drive down the road to Ripley. They're giving a little bit of their paycheck to make sure, so-and-so, we need to do so-and-so can be on the team. Do you have that? Maybe. I don't think you have it like Ole Miss. It is all pulling in the same direction. In Florida right now, y'all are all over the place. And that dysfunction and that disorganization and also your own hubris, that's what's going to bite you in the ass here if you allow yourself to say, well, we're just going to go poach Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss. Go for it. I'm telling you, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Not saying it's not a realistic possibility. Of course it is. And he could leave. But, man, do you understand the incredible mountain you have to climb to get that done outside of, just got to go kick little Ole Miss and go get our guy? That's absurd, and that is a complete departure from reality. You're living in your own reality for what college football is in 2025-26. It's why Kalen DeBoer can be in week one the hottest coach on the hottest seat to now week 6, me Sudu saying he was the right guy to replace the guy. Yep. Because parity reigns. And if parity reigns, anybody can win, and Ole Miss is better than you right now.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Before we wrap up with Florida, I got to give a shout out to Dallas Wilson, man. This dude is 18 years old. We're gonna feature him in Bless Your Heart. If you're a college football fan, you're gonna know exactly what play I'm talking about here. But just before we even get to that, I just got to say, man, 6 receptions, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. He averaged 18.5 per reception.
We've got some stud wide receivers in college football.
We do.
From top down. Guys that don't
man.
even get the love that they should. This Wilson kid, he's a legit NFL prospect. Cam Coleman, of course. Jeremiah Smith. But, like, Caden Lee at Ole Miss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the guys I mean, the wide receiver position, unlike quarterback, which there's just a serious lack.
Yeah.
Thank you. Woof. The wide receivers, they've got real juice and depth of options, man. So, like, if you're an NFL team, holy cow.
What
you can mine gold in the second,
and it's
third,
been
and
the
fourth
crazy
round.
thing is, like, it's not even just like they're scattered about. They're on one team. Like Texas, DeAndre Moore, Ryan Wingo, Parker Livingstone. Like all of those guys are incredible. You look at Miami, C.J. Daniels, Malachi Toney. You look at Ole Miss, Deuce Alexander, Caden Lee, Harrison Wallace. I mean, you just look across the board. Like each of these teams has not just one, but multiple stud wideouts. Now,
because the thing is it used to be, who is this kid from Wake Forest? Well, now that kid from Wake Forest is going and joining the room at Ole Miss. You know what I mean? So that's what you're losing. There's going to be less diversification of colleges, but man, the depth. You're right. Look across rosters; it's insane. Yeah. And did Harrison Wallace make the right call, leaving Penn State as their leading receiver to go to Ole Miss this offseason?
But he was the problem, Ben. That's why Drew Aller wasn't good.
Crazy how that happens. You just dog people on their way out. You know, two things can be true. Harrison Wallace was a great player. Penn State didn't want to lose him, and it sucks. I mean, if you want to be fair about it, Harrison, that's a crappy thing for Penn State fans, I'm sure, and I feel for them in that way because they just wanted to do nothing but cheer for you and love you. But also, he's got to make the best decision in his best personal interest. Sure. And if that isn't playing out, obviously by now,
what a great
come
decision.
on, because I got my 3-minute rant. Okay, I'm not going to do it now, but Sudu said I could do it. At some point, I'm going to get 3 minutes, and he's going to put a timer on me to make sure that I don't run because all I do is talk. I can't shut up. I'm a motor mouth. But I got a rant. Something really grinding my gears, as Peter Griffin used to say on Family Guy about James Franklin. So whenever you're ready for Ben's grinding of gears, let me know. But yes, man, I'm glad you brought up like the depth of wide receivers on certain rosters, and Ole Miss is a great example.
I got one for you that you wasn't even on your radar because it certainly wasn't on mine. You ready for this? So this weekend, I'm down in Fort Lauderdale hosting shows for CBS. Right, so the show I'm hosting Saturday.
Humble brag.
I was trying to say that without any sort of flexing there, but.
Flex on him, though, Sue. Flex on him. I told you he's the most talented person I've ever known in this business. Yes, he's baby bro. Yes, I broke him into this business. But also, he's awesome.
Thank you, Ben, and I appreciated your text. When I saw that you were watching, that meant the world to me. But
I got a great screenshot, too. It's like Sudu doing this.
Yeah,
you know,
that was.
I wanted to make sure I called him when because like he thinks he's too pretty. We have to humble him. You know what I mean?
You certainly did. I mean, your daughter thinks I'm pretty, Ben. That's all I'm going to say. Which was another
the 13-year-old,
text.
God bless her. Let's look at this. Look at this girl. Look at this. She's perfect in every way. Hold on. Here we go. You see this? That's Gracie Garrett.
She's
perfect in every way. She thinks I'm dumber than a bag of dicks now.
Spitting image of her father, by the way.
She's now 13.
Good
She
God,
thinks I'm
crazy.
dumber than a bag of dicks, but she is a soldier and warrior for Christ. But even to the torture of me, she also yesterday quite literally said, "Oh, that's with Sudu. Oh gosh, she is so pretty.
I'm
like,
pretty.
Oh
I'm pretty, y'all. I'll take
pretty.
it. I'll take it. Pretty is one I don't normally
hot,
get.
Pretty. That's
not hot, not
worse.
handsome. Pretty. I'll take pretty any day of the week. But so I'm hosting shows, and my entire job is I'm essentially like Scott Hansen. They come to me every so many minutes, like, "Hey, we got to do updates of all the games going on." And Air Force Navy was on CBS. So that was kind of the one I was doing plays for. And time again, there's this white receiver named Eli Heidenreich,
Brings
number
his
22.
lunch pail, Sudu.
What's up?
Sneaky athletic, brings his lunch pail.
Brings his lunch pail to work. Real gym rat, this guy. No, man. He is
coach on the field, Sudu. He's a coach on the field.
Dude, no. This man is an American hero. He is a patriot. He plays for the Naval Academy, okay? He's going to be protecting us from the evils of the world one day, and I'm very happy.
Anchors away, my boy.
Thank you.
Anchors away.
This guy.
Papa Troy was in the Navy, baby.
Shout
Heck
out, Papa Troy. But
Papa
here's the
Troy,
deal.
God rest your soul, my guy.
I feel so safe knowing that Eli Heidenreich will be protecting our shores one day. Okay.
Heck yeah.
This man is one of the best receivers in college football that nobody knew about. So time and time again on CBS this weekend, I'm doing these game breaks. Every single time, Blake Horvath to Eli Heidenreich. Now, Navy is a running football team. It's been this way forever. They were torching Air Force, ironically, through the air. I mean, and this dude, Eli Heidenreich, came into the day with 5 catches, set a Navy record with 243 receiving yards, 8 receptions, and the touchdowns that Sudu was giving updates on, 80 yards, 60 yards, 19 yards. But even that 19-yard touchdown was impressive. He's now got a program record 14 receiving touchdowns in his career at Navy. And I think he's 100% a candidate for the Biletnikoff Award. How cool would it be, man? For a kid out of Navy.
Down. You get really excited.
I'm hype about this guy, man. Eli Heidenreich, dude.
But also, he's the next Wes Welker. Cooper Kupp.
He could be. I hope he gets some kind of exception, so he can go play in the NFL, man. I really do.
I just love the comps we make. You know what I mean? If you honestly had to evaluate who this kid reminds you of, tell me someone without considering that all the other white receivers that ever came through. Like, who are some other guys? Who does he look like to you? Because I've never even seen him. This is the first time I've heard of this cat.
I know. I figured because it was the first time I'd heard of this cat, and I watch a lot of college football.
Heck yeah!
He's a smallish guy. I know. He's 6 foot 206 pounds, but he looks stocky. I don't know if it's because
how tall is he? How tall is he?
He's 6 feet even, just straight up.
He could be Braylon Sanders.
Okay, there you go. That's a
Jordan Watkins.
6 foot, 206 pounds, but he wears number 22, so I think he looks a little stockier. You know how the number can make someone look different? I think that could be the situation with him. But, dude, love Eli Heidenreich. I can't wait to watch him play the rest of the season. Navy Temple, by the way, was a 34-31 game where both teams aired it out, which was shocking because they were both like some of the top rushing offenses in the country coming into the game. But we would not be talking about this game if it wasn't for Eli Heidenreich. Shout out to you, sir. Salute to you, Eli Heidenreich.
Salute. Thank you for your service. And now, we got to start with compiling a list of Sudu's guys, okay?
He's on it.
Because he's on it, dude.
Sudu superstars is what I call them.
All right, who do we know for sure are other Sudu's guys? Florida guy?
Oh, Dallas Wilson easily. Trinidad Chambliss, baby.
Trinidad.
Trinidad Chambliss is on that list. God, who else is on that, man? I'd have to go do like a deep dive because I would have.
Get some Sudu's guys ready because I feel like every week there's you're coming with somebody new, and I don't want to forget who these are because
Byron Brown. Byron Brown from USF.
Yeah, that's your quarterback.
That's my guy, dude.
Okay, let's fill out a whole all 22 by the end of the year of Sudu's guys.
I'm down.
Okay,
Caden Proctor's on there, even though he's a very well known name, but I'm putting him at running back.
Because he did hurt some. He did bless some hearts and hurt some feelings last week. Oh, my God.
Dude, Kalen DeBoer, I don't know if he watched a lot of J.J. Peagy's film at Ole Miss a year ago, but he said, let me just take my biggest, most athletic guy and give him the ball. And what a great idea.
Take my surefire top 10 draft pick.
Right.
Who is the freakish. It's like if Ole Miss had taken Laramie Tunsil and made him a receiver. Oh, wait, they did in the Sugar Bowl in 2016.
They did.
And I was like, why didn't you do this before now? Because he's the most freakish athlete.
When Hugh Freeze does it, though, we crap on him. So maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should forgive him for using Robert Kimdichie the way he did because,
I blame you for the Memphis loss, not Robert Kimdichie being used as a fullback and getting concussed by Freeze. I blame you.
I blame the head coach.
I blame your own hubris, like Florida fans' hubris in regard to, we're getting laid from little Ole Miss.
Okay, look, I needed to learn in that moment that noon kickoff slot at the Liberty Bowl is always a loss for whoever's coming in.
Yep.
Okay, that was one of many examples. But, all right, we're going to move on. But, yes, tons of great things. Actually, we didn't really get to touch on Texas's issues, which I just need to say, their offensive line, Ben, I don't know why they're so bad because Texas has been spending a lot of money in the portal, been spending a lot of money for high school recruits. Like, there's talent at Texas. Their offensive line was atrocious. They couldn't protect Arch Manning to save their lives. Arch himself obviously missed a lot of throws. But and you can sit here and criticize Arch. I even texted you and I said I want him to be good so bad, Ben.
Same.
But he is so bad. Like I
said to start the year, why are we crowning this kid if not for just his last name?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Paul Feinbaum has already eaten his crow, and this is we're not celebrating the struggles.
Hey,
of
that's
Arch
future
Manning here.
Senator Paul Feinbaum, mind you. We don't have
already got Tommy Tuberville. I mean, just throw another one on.
We don't have to go down this road. I know you don't want
do this to me, but I want Arch to succeed too.
Yeah,
he was his struggles have nothing to do with all the hype train in the preseason that he had nothing to do with.
Right.
He didn't deserve those expectations. They were inevitable. I'm not blaming anyone. They were inevitable. But we have to start letting all of these players rise and fall on their own and not expect immediate success from everybody. Like, look in the NFL, we don't even give guys a year and a half anymore. It used to be Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for 4. Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 4, whatever it was. But it wasn't just them. Tom Brady sat behind Drew Bledsoe to start. We don't give them any time at all. Eli sat behind Kurt Warner for 8 games. Jackson only had to wait 3, right?
Yeah.
And back then, Eli replacing Kurt Warner seemed kind of, rushing it a little bit, but it was a lost season already, and Kurt Warner was on an expiring deal. So they went with a rookie because it was a lost season. No, The Giants are saying the only way for us to win now is with Jackson Dart. Think about how much that's asking of Jackson Dart. Well, just in the same way, how much y'all were asking of Arch Manning. He had no choice. There was no choice for him but to let you down. Period. Now he's been worse than I expected.
Well, he did, but see, to your credit, he did sit behind Quinn Ewers, right? I think
he did. You're right. Right. But like when Steve Spurrier said, I stand corrected. You're absolutely right. When Steve Spurrier said if he was so good, why did Quinn Ewers play over him? He was right.
He was absolutely right. Yeah.
Because eventually, like when you watch him play, there's nothing about him that screams elite traits. You don't see the biggest arm, but it's erratic. You don't see this elite rushing ability. You see competency. I don't know what his elite traits are. So you put on top of that, he was already going to be a developing quarterback, if not for his last name, in a resume similar, almost identical to Austin Simmons. And what happened to Austin Simmons? He's on the bench right now behind Trinidad Chambliss, whose experience and competitiveness and doggedness has got Ole Miss at 5-0 with Washington State up next. He's a Heisman candidate. I think he was number 3 on On3's Heisman poll this week. I write for Rebel Grove on 3, the Ole Miss site. Check it out for $1. And Trinidad's now number 3. No one had him on the radar in July. They were talking about Austin Simmons and why they believed in Ole Miss because of Austin Simmons. And Austin Simmons right now isn't even a part of the calculus. Arch Manning is not. He's always going to be a part of the calculus, but he has real issues that no one is giving him time to work out.
He can't process, Ben. He holds the ball way too long. That's the biggest thing I noticed this week.
I blame Sark more than anyone else just because I've never been a big Sark believer.
I'm with you there.
For me, it's like, guys, you have to treat this season as it really always was. A volatile outcome season that, yes, at its peak, they could be a national championship contender. But at their worst, we said this about Ole Miss this year. You and I did. Their floor could be 7-5, 8-4. That's exactly where Texas is headed. Unfortunately, because Arch isn't advanced enough and those elite traits, that lack of elite traits has shown up when they've over-relied on him because they can't do basic things like run the football outside of him.
Yep.
And, I mean, it's not just Arch, but he's a developing quarterback who's struggling right now, as most first-year starters do at times, on a team that wasn't as good to begin with, but we all want to crown people in the preseason and go, well, the next great Manning is here. He's QB1 in the 2026 draft. Let's calm down. Let them have it's going to be disappointing, but mostly it's disappointing because of the unrealistic expectations we have for these people and teams now.
Yeah.
Like, they should have never been considered preseason number 1. Never should have. But we love preseason rankings because we ain't got shit to talk about in July. So I feel for Arch Manning. I think he's going to be a good quarterback in time. I'm not sure it's at Texas.
I don't disagree with you. Now, whether he stays at Texas or not is a different question or a different topic altogether. But I think here's the deal. I don't like people want to jump to extreme. So he has a bad game against Florida. It's like, oh, you haven't beaten anyone. Now you're awful. I still think Arch can be a good quarterback, like a serviceable. But I think by next season, he could be pretty good.
I think he could be a superstar if they can figure out, first of all, what is going on with his throwing motion. Because, like, he could be Jackson Dart. He profiles like that. Jalen Hurts. I mean, and those guys are starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Someone call them superstars. Others would say, well, Jalen Hurts is just surrounded by a good team. Whatever. They're good players. I think Arch Manning, that's his profile. Jackson Dart, Jalen Hurts, maybe even a little Russell Wilson. But something is up with both his throwing motion and his shoulder. If he's injured, protect him. Take care of him. If he's not, then I got to ask you, what were y'all doing mechanically with him all offseason to prepare him for this? If that's what he was showing you, that's a dereliction of coaching duty to allow him to go out there and throw like he's been throwing. It's bizarre. Yeah. So I think it's a lot of people letting him down, including the media. But Arch, you got to own it too now. I mean, you didn't ask for the preseason crowning that you got, but what you did ask for was a starting opportunity for a national title contender. And what comes with that is criticism, legitimate criticism. So you have things to work on too, but no one else has been like an adult in the room, a hand-raised guy, as my guys Neil and Chase say. No one's been a hand-raised guy in the room that says, wait a minute, let's bring the temperature down a little bit and let this kid develop on a normal developmental track. If this were Julian Sayin or Ty Simpson instead of Arch Manning struggling, it's not even a story for a week. But because his last name is Manning and because we're so obsessed with culture of personality stuff, he's getting unduly destroyed when, quite frankly, Texas was never that good to begin with.
No, they can't block. There's issues with Sark and their play calling as well. They can't run the football. Arch isn't good. He's not where he needs to be now. Can't process fast enough. Anytime there's any pressure in his face, look how erratic his throws are. He had a receiver wide open running down the field, and he just overshot him. And I know he was on his back foot or whatever, but still, it's a wide open receiver. Like, he's not good. Their defense is decent. I thought their defense could have been elite. I don't think they're elite. They're a good defense. Like, Florida only scored, 3 touchdowns on offense? I think one of those was like a blocked punt or something, right? Like,
and that should be a win when you have Arch Manning and Sark as your head coach and play
100%.
caller, and like the power of Texas, and it wasn't. So to me, there are way bigger problems than Arch Manning.
Yeah, I agree.
Arch is definitely a problem. He has not lived up to whatever expectations any of us had for him. I didn't think he'd struggle like this. I really didn't.
Yeah.
I did also said, why the hell is he a Heisman candidate?
You
this
did.
makes because I covered him in high school.
Yeah.
You know, I saw who he played against, and he was racking up numbers against you and me. You know what I mean? Like, I saw these things, and that class itself was really overhyped. But look at Nico getting him a win this weekend against Penn State.
Ben,
you know?
let's do this, because I did this with a friend of mine this weekend. Okay, what was that? The class of 20? What would that have been, Ben?
2024,
23
or 23.
23 recruiting class on 3.
Oh, I could tell you, Jackson Arnold's in there.
Yep. All right. So here's what it is. I just because it is astonishing how bad this quarterback class ends up being, and also shows you that look, ranking these kids is freaking hard, man.
It's hard and it's subjective, and it doesn't guarantee success just because they have stars by their name.
Right.
Go.
So okay. So you had now this
Trinidad had 0 stars and went to D2 Ferris State.
Yeah. Now
it's a great predictor
right,
as far as
Here we
overall career trajectory. But like, if you're expecting a 5-star, we got a 5-star plug and play. I don't think plug and play.
This class is the example of why you should never think that. Arch was number 1. Dante Moore was 2. He's playing like the number 1 quarterback.
Dante
right
Moore
now.
is my dude. That's if we had a Benz dude, I got you on quarterback. You got to take this South Florida dude. Dante Moore is my guy. Keep
Dante
going.
Moore is 2. Nico, surprise. We'll get to Jerry Neuheisel and UCLA this weekend. Nico was looking like Vince Young this weekend, but as of right now, so far, he's looked like a bust. So you got Arch, Dante, Nico, Jackson Arnold, Malachi Nelson, Jaden Rashada. I don't even know who Eli Holston is. Christopher.
He plays backup for Alabama.
Okay, well,
or like he transferred. Let me see.
He went to Bama. I don't know if he's still that. Christopher Vizina, I guess, went to Clemson. Avery Johnson starts for Kansas State. He's meh.
Oh, he's now quarterbacking over at Pittsburgh. I didn't know that.
Okay, shout out him. Austin Novosad went to.
Hey, they were
Oregon.
Undefeated. They were. No, never mind. I'm sorry.
J.J. Cole went to Iowa State. He's not starting there. Aiden Childs, Dylan Lonergan.
Oh, he's been benched. Eli Holstein's been benched at Pitt.
Okay. Dylan Lonergan plays somewhere. It's not at Bama where he enrolled, though. Kenny Minchie, no clue. Lincoln Kienholtz, I know that name. I don't know if he's still at Ohio State. Austin Mack, Ricky Collins, Lenora Sellers, probably if you re-ranked him, would probably put him in the top 10, but he's been a bit underwhelming this season. Austin Simmons, yet to see what he turns into. He was 19th. I'm at number 20 now, Marcel Reed, who does start for A&M. He's okay. He's good in moments. Jabari Johnson, Braden Dorman, Malachi Singleton. You guys seeing what I'm saying here? Sam Levitt, if you re-ranked him, he'd be in the top 10. He's actually been pretty good, but he's 24th in these rankings. Chris Parson, Pierce Clarkson. Hey.
Oh, boy.
Brady Dragosh, Brock Glenn.
We can stop this now.
Can I keep going, or you think that's...
I'd rather you not. This is getting sad at this point, you know? Jeez Louise, man. But yeah,
I mean, it's bad, man.
It's bad.
But see, we don't talk about those other guys. We don't talk about Malachi Nelson and Jaden Rashada anymore, right? But we do it with Arch.
At Sacramento State now?
Yeah.
He was signed with Georgia out of high school. Like, it's just
no. He was with Arizona State. Then he went to Florida. Then he went to Georgia.
Yeah. And Ole Miss recruited him. I mean, like, it's a different world, man. And these kids are given no time to really figure it out. And even when they are, like, they have so many people in their ear, they're moving 4 or 5 different places. How are you supposed to develop like that?
I was going to say the portal,
How do you develop like that?
Yeah.
If it gets hard, they leave.
Yep.
And, I mean, like, they're not giving credit Arch for sticking around at Texas and waiting.
Yeah.
It's just now, all right, address your football issues. Because everything's still in front of you, except this year is shot. It is.
Right.
So from this point on, if you're Sark, if you're Texas, and you're Arch Manning, you have to batten down the hatches and all of you be the best versions of yourself from now on, whatever that looks like, and show real momentum, because otherwise, as a university, as a big corporate business that these schools are now, they're going to all have to make some hard choices. Because this was supposed to be, not by any fault of y'all's, but this was supposed to be, according to everyone that considers these things, oh, we got Arch and we made the playoffs last year and this. And now you've been held to that standard. There's going to be hard decisions to be made at the end of the year. And that might even include Arch considering his leaving options. That could happen because that's what you have to consider now. So I'm just saying we need to give all these people and all these parties at least a little bit of grace, man. Like, let's not pile on. Let's get rid of preseason rankings. Let's get rid of hyping up guys who haven't even done anything yet and putting them in positions that they're not ready for, and let them rise and fall as all prospects have to do. That's all I'm getting at.
No doubt. Quickly, I want to touch on Cincinnati, Iowa State, Ben. Iowa State came into this game ranked 14th, 5-0. Rocco Becht obviously playing pretty well this season. They were looking like a Big 12 contender. And then Brendan Sorsby in Cincinnati said, hold my beer. They went up by a large margin early in the game. Iowa State made it a game late, but ultimately Cincinnati pulled off this upset. I want to talk about Sorsby. We haven't talked about him much. A few weeks ago, somebody said that this kid could be a top prospect for the NFL draft. And I was like, who? Brendan who? From where? And shout out Brendan Sorsby, man. I think it's time we give this guy a little bit of credit. Threw for 214 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, it wasn't insane. It wasn't some like insane.
What was the efficiency rating though?
He was 13 for 25. His QBR was 86. Like, that's what I'm saying. It was okay. Like, he was okay. But his stats for this, over 1,200 passing yards, 12 touchdowns and an interception. Doesn't seem to make a lot of mistakes. So I just wanted to shout out Brendan Sorsby. I don't know if he's going to be on Sudu's list of superstars, but I just feel like we haven't talked about him. You know, we've given a lot of credit to guys like Josh Hoover on here, who once again, 5 touchdowns against Colorado. TCU almost lost to Colorado, and Hoover won. So we shout out to him too. But hey, big shout out to Brendan Sorsby. Shout out Cincinnati. Like, they could be a Big 12 contender this year. Good for them.
I love it. I didn't watch a single snap of that game. I only saw the results, so I defer to you. But yes, that it kind of speaks to what I've been talking about, you know, this college football landscape is starved for some real star power at quarterback somewhere. Yeah. Really. Drew Aller, disappointing. Cade Klubnik, yeah. Trinidad Chambliss is such a great story for the obvious reasons, but also because we're starved for good quarterback play.
Ballers. Yeah.
And that's why in the NFL, look at the NFL, how bad the quarterback play is. That's why Dak Prescott is the MVP frontrunner right now.
What a season for your boy Dak Prescott.
My guy Dak, who I will defend until my dying breath. This stupid Ole Miss guy, as y'all call him, will defend Dak Prescott till my dying days.
As a Giants fan and a guy who does not like the Cowboys in the least bit, I've always respected Dak, even though he went to Mississippi State, all that. I've always respected him for his personality, who he is. He's a good guy, decent quarterback. I've always criticized him as a passer, Ben. This year might be the greatest year I've ever. That throw he made on the sideline.
He should have won MVP in 2023 over Lamar Jackson, but that's neither here nor there. Point being is that he's a good quarterback, and when you consider the rest or replacing him, if you're a Cowboys fan, who you talking about?
Yeah,
who you talking about? Who's coming? Who's showing up? Who's on the way? Trevor Lawrence hasn't done anything to knock you over.
No.
Who's coming from college? Who, if you're like a Jets fan and you're like, man, we're 0-5, who we getting at number 1 for QB1 to inject you with that kind of thrilling superstar? Like, Cam Ward's been really good for the Titans. Bully on them. But we didn't even talk about Cam Ward. It was despicable how he was treated during the draft process.
He was the best
Cam
QB.
Is actually. He has been, him and Jackson Dart have been great. But, okay, now Jackson Dart had his tough Sunday. But tell me who these next guys are.
Yeah.
Who are they? We don't even know. And even the guys who've been in the league who we've been waiting on to be the next superstars aren't showing up yet. Not really.
Yeah.
So, Jordan Love. Jordan Love's one of the best quarterbacks in football. What has Jordan Love done? The golden era of quarterbacking, we're spoiled. We don't have on Sundays to watch Peyton and Drew and Tom and Phillip Rivers and just pick your guys. You know what I mean? Now they're starved for it. So I'm looking at quarterbacks across the college football landscape. Who is that guy? Y'all tried to make it Arch Manning. Maybe it's the kid from Cincinnati now.
But that's another thing, Ben. Even if they're good in college right now, like I love Carson Beck as a college. interviewed the dude countless times. He was awesome with me. Really like his game in college. I don't see Carson Beck translating into some, world-beating NFL quarterback.
But could it be Trevor Lawrence?
Sure, maybe. Same with Dante Moore. Like, Dante Moore's an awesome college quarterback, but can you really sit here confidently be like, that guy's going to translate into the league? We just don't know. We've seen so many guys just bust in the league. The other part of it is what you said earlier is they don't have time to develop. Look at guys like Sam Arnold and Daniel Jones right now. I mean, Daniel Jones is mind-boggling to me because of how bad he was in New York and had that one good year with Dayball, and we thought, man, he's coming along, and then absolutely just could not play the quarterback position. He's looking like the second coming of Peyton in Indianapolis right now. Darnold looks like a superstar, and it's all because they all left and needed some time to develop and get the cameras and the lights off of them, and now they're doing better. And that is a big part of quarterback play across football. Is development is a very almost an afterthought now. It's all about just getting them in there and putting them into play. And in college, oftentimes the coaches do whatever they can to make it the most simple for these quarterbacks. That doesn't necessarily work in the NFL. But you're right. I mean, we've been beating this horse dead, I think, since we started this college football season.
It is long ago dead, friend.
Yeah, it's bad. Okay, I know we both want to talk about UCLA's upset over Penn State. Want to get to your rant, but before we do that, can we talk about how Jerry Neuheisel looks like a Targaryen?
Yes, he does. Jerry Neuheisel, first of his name.
I got to shout out my buddy.
Confused with Aemon or Eddis Targaryen, Rhaegar Targaryen, who obviously the whole parentage of Jon Snow, the prince that was promised. Yep. Yes, he looks just like him, dude. He looks like Joffrey Baratheon.
What's awesome too is that
Targaryen.
He's a legacy too. That's what adds more to this. I got to shout out my buddy Chip who brought this up to me on the phone the other day. He's like, does he not look like a Targaryen? I went, yes, dude. I was trying to put it together. I was like,
First of his name, Jerry
Neuheisel.
Jerry Neuheisel, son of Rick.
His dad, obviously, Rick Neuheisel, coached at UCLA. I believe Jerry played for his dad. So just an awesome story getting to see him, get to call the plays. I mean, they fired their offensive coordinator, UCLA did, early last week. Then they said, Jerry Neuheisel, you're the play caller. He said he'd never called plays on a headset before Saturday. And he had Nico Iamaleava looking like Vince Young out there. Okay.
I'm just saying that's the spirit of the thing we talk about. It's all of this that has changed college football, the NIL, the transfer portal, all these things that kind of rob the spirit of the thing out of it. Then you get a UCLA over Penn State, and you get Jerry Neuheisel getting carried off the field, getting call plays for the first time ever, had 2 days to scheme for this, and they beat them. And it's just like it's commonality, it's uniformity, and they all came together for a common goal. Dude, that is the spirit of the thing. It was awesome. It gives me chills thinking about it because, man, I love that stuff. That's why
they carried him off the field, man, like he was riding a dragon, man.
That's why, just like he was, headed to the dragon pit there in King's Landing.
Yep.
See, but yes, he's a Targaryen as far as our boy James Franklin.
Are you ready to tell me what's grinding your gears, Benny?
Let me tell you what's grinding my gears. Give me 3 minutes here, uninterrupted, but keep the timer on me. I don't want to bore the people.
Hold on. Let me get the timer set because I'm holding you to this 3 minutes.
A hard three.
Because I know you will go way longer than that.
Yep,
all right,
I'm a chatty Cathy.
Your timer starts in 3, 2, 1.
James Franklin, my gosh, man. My gosh, last week I tried to defend you. I defended you best I could. I said you were the Brian Snicker of college football potentially. It only takes 1 year of always being in the race, always being there in the playoff to really go win a national championship. Only one time like they said in Little Giants. And what did you do this same weekend? Brian Snicker did it. He went and won a title with the Braves on a year when they didn't even have Ronald Acuna. It was a bunch of cast-offs from other teams, and they just had this magical run. You can do that too. You just got to be in a chase. And you were always in the chase. And then the next day, you lose to UCLA and a first-time play caller who 11 years ago was playing for his dad and had never called plays before. In 2 days, prepared with the highest-paid defensive coordinator in college football. James, you're not helping me out here. It's really grinding my gears. And I finally decided that now, you're moving this at the end of this year. You have no choice, whether by Penn State firing you or you're pulling a John Calipari. And honestly, I'm staring down the John Calipari trek as the most obvious outcome here. You ready to be the next head coach at Arkansas? I can see it. Florida, I doubt Florida makes a big enough splash for you. They're going for Lane. Maybe they come for you, but, buddy, it's time to move because you can't lose that game. Of all games, you were not supposed to be able to win the big game, not that game. And I was ready to say that you'd be in the chase every time. And what did you do? What did you do? You lost to UCLA without a coach, without fans in the stands. I hope you're ready to be the head coach of Arkansas. You're a great football coach. You're a program builder. But up until this point, what really grinds my gears is that you always took care of the business you were supposed to. You just couldn't win a big game. And now we're losing to 0-4 UCLA with broken Nico and Rick Neuheisel's progeny? What are we doing? James, you are going to have many options as you could want at the end of the year, but the Penn State time is done. It's over. And that's okay because you're not recovering from that one. Maybe you went out, and because of the conference you're in, they'll give you deference and put you in the playoff. But, bud, there's no coming back from losing that game the way you did. I'm so thrilled for Jerry Neuheisel, festive his name. But as for you, James, you let me down. You let yourself down, and you let down the argument that you're always going to be in the race, like overwhelming competency. Yeah, the big one, that's tough, but no, you can get through. That's anecdotal. And what did you do? You lost to UCLA. Arkansas would be a great spot for you, great landing spot for you. Florida would be great, but Florida, who knows? They're dysfunctional. He's counting me down. James,
7.
I can't believe it. You're not the Brian Sticker. You're not the Brian Sticker.
3.
You're like
2.
Bobby Cox. No, you didn't even win like Bobby.
And that is what is grinding Ben Garrett's gears today. Great job, Benny. 3 minutes. You could have done that in 2:30.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I really had a broader point because I was going to compare him to other baseball managers. You're not Brian Snicker. Bobby Cox won.
Don't insult Brian Snicker like that, man. I think someone missed the point the other day, by the way. They were like, Brian Snicker won a title. And I had to respond and be like, hey, I think Ben meant Franklin could also win a title, but
yeah,
maybe
he's
he can't.
Always in the race. Maybe
Brian not a Penn State.
Always had Ole Miss. Yeah, you say, but if we wouldn't have cost us this game in June by some stupid bullpen decisions, we wouldn't be playing the Dodgers in the round 1. You know what I mean? But now, he was always in the race. Then he won a title. I was saying James Franklin could have done the same, but then you lose to UCLA. Nothing grinds my gears like just inexplicable bed shitting. You know what I mean? Like completely inexplicable bed shitting.
I am with you. Okay, before we get to these Week 7 matchups, Ben and I were watching college football this Saturday, and we saw some plays that just made us go, bless your heart. Okay, I was sitting there on the chairs with the bright lights on me at CBS. No bragging. No, not a brag, just what I was doing on Saturday. Okay, I was doing game breaks, and I'm going to start with the play that had me absolutely shooketh. I was worried sick about this guy. We're going to go to Iowa State, Cincinnati first. And this is quarterback Rocco Becht. Great season so far. Rocco Becht, he steps back. Oh, I'm going to get out of the pocket. Boom! Oh, no. You ain't going nowhere, son. That is Simeon Coleman, Ben. Simeon Coleman for Cincinnati literally took his name to Rocco Becht. He rocked that man into the turf at Cincinnati, which I discovered, I think, is one of the oldest stadiums in the country. Fun fact for you there.
Oh, neat.
A lot of people probably don't know that. I was worried sick about you, Rocco Becht. I'm glad you got to come back in the game. You're a tough son of a gun, but Rocco Becht, bless your heart.
Holy cow.
Now,
Whopper lick sticker.
That was bad, Ben.
It's going to leave a mark, Sudu. It's going to leave a mark.
This is more insult to injury for Iowa State, actually. Uh-oh. Earlier in the game, they were hitting hard all game. Earlier in the game, this is Tawee Walker for Cincinnati. I can't believe this guy is 5'8", Ben. He is 5 foot.
Do it, Mighty Mouse. Listen.
Took that man's soul. Ran through it.
Look.
Put it on like a costume.
Oh, his head went back twice, bro. His head popped back. It's like his bobblehead net. You know what I mean? Oh, Lord have mercy.
That is Carson Willick.
If you're gonna get on the train, get on the tracks when the train's coming through, be prepared.
I mean, Ben, the problem is I think Willick started sliding around and didn't have a good base.
That's football, bro. Oh,
Tawee Walker, baby.
He was like little Mighty Mouse, just bulldozing.
5'8".
That's ball. Now
Hey.
we're playing ball. We're playing ball now, Sudu. It's football.
Absolutely. Carson Willick, bless your
heart. Don't get on the tracks when the train's coming through.
Now, Ben, I know you remember a fellow by the name of Michael Trigg. Once upon a time, one of the top tight end prospects in the country. He came to Ole Miss with Jackson Dart, yes, from USC. Didn't really pan out. The rumor was that Michael Trigg just he wasn't a true ball player. He didn't like the physicality. He didn't like the coaching he was receiving. And you know what? Whether that's true or not, it doesn't matter. He's now at Baylor, and he made this catch.
Things.
He made this catch on Saturday, man.
I always had stock in you, Mike.
Ooh!
One hand.
That man's got spider fingers.
You talk about a guy who's absolutely added rocket fuel to his NFL draft profile this year, Michael Trigg.
First of all, Ben.
There's never been a doubt about the talent. Never been a doubt about the talent.
First of all, you want to talk about rocket fuel. He rocket fueled himself on that jump. And then the sticky fingers. I mean, poor Wesley Fair, man. This guy was in coverage, and he lost from the outset, man.
Yeah,
there's nothing he could do here.
Well, the
Wesley
thing is,
Fair.
it's not. You're kind of on there. Hold on, Wesley. Before we bless you, you had it. You were there, but sometimes they just beat you. Sometimes you got to take an L because of just a tremendous individual accomplishment and success. And Michael Trigg, you just blessed that man. It ain't your fault, friend, but bless your heart.
Fair. Bless your heart.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart, because Michael Trigg, man, all he had to do to really finish that off was do the whole Allen Iverson over Ty Lue walk on you. That was tough. Bless you. Bless you.
Absolutely. Okay. I was talking about Dallas Wilson earlier. Here is why. Before we start this play, I just want to make sure you know this is an 18-year-old, folks. Okay. Dallas Wilson here.
18,
First of all, Kobe Black in coverage falls. Dallas Wilson should have been tackled right there by Jelani McDonald. How about Michael Taffy? Doesn't matter. I'm dragging everybody into the end zone.
Going down. He said, I ain't ever sitting down. No, sir. He said, I'm staying up.
18 years old, Ben, dragging grown-ass men across the turf of the swamp like a gator looking for his lunch.
There you go. Y'all are just gazelles for this gator that is Dallas Wilson to eat you up and spit you out.
This is the replay here.
Oh, here we go. Dude, what are you doing?
Jelani McDonald, Brody, you got to go for his feet.
You had two opportunities, bro, and whiffed twice.
I mean, and then Michael Taffy, a guy who's being considered for the NFL draft. Nope, we need more physicality. And then, Ben, I want to go back to this because, once again, look at the DB, the corner here. What happened to him?
He's ready for a nap. He had to lay out. He had to lay down. Sleep. He's ready to go sleep. He was like, man, it's been a hard assignment.
He beat the whole Texas secondary. Kobe Black, Jelani McDonald, and Michael Taffy. Fellas, bless your heart.
Bless your heart. He's standing not only on his business, but on your faces. Oh, boy. Bless your
Absolute,
heart. Just big boy. That's one of Sudu's guys. Write it down.
He's on there. Okay, another one of my guys, another wide receiver. We talk about wide receiver playing college football this year. We got a couple more receivers coming up, including this guy right here. Carson Beck, Malachi Toney. How many defenders are there?
4, 5.
It doesn't matter. This man's got prime Usain Bolt speed.
What a nice job sitting down in the zone, too. What a really impressive way to go about it, Sudu. And then just runs away from everybody with his natural speed and talent.
I want to point this out. Okay, so obviously the speed, but look at that cut. He was going one way, went the other. Number 0 for Florida State.
Got you on skates.
Got him turned around, staring at those feet.
He was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. It's never been harder to evaluate talent, but the real next level talent evaluators are seeing contributions like this, not just from the wide receiver from Miami we just highlighted, but also like Kejuan Lacey at Ole Miss. Like, he did nothing at Missouri last year, but that was one of Lane's targeted and scouted guys. He said, this is my dude, went and got him. Yeah. And it's so cool to see those guys and see those scouting and development wins. They don't get enough credit, show up. So for the whole Florida State defense, bless your beautiful hearts.
Bless your hearts, fellas.
Woo! But also, Miami, like I said, I own it. I said I was picking Florida State to win. I really thought the upset was coming. Miami's the best team in football right now. However, if the national championship was being played, and I could pick at least 3, maybe 4 SEC teams that I would put against them in that national championship game, I would pick the SEC team in each one of those matchups. I'll just say that.
I love it.
But for right now, Miami is that team.
I want to finish our bless your heart, and then I do want to go in on Miami a little bit.
Okay.
But this final play here comes from Texas A&M, Mississippi State. Dogs, we are Ole Miss guys. We have believed in you all year. Me and Ben have been sitting here saying that you're going to knock off someone you're not supposed to. As much as it hurts us to say it, it could be Ole Miss at the end of the year. It's a strong offense. The defense has its issues. And this play right here shows you more about what Mississippi State's defense is about. Marcel Reed here. This is Casey Concepcion. Should be tackled right there.
Stop him. Stop him now.
Number 1.
That's not a touch. That shouldn't happen.
That's
not
Kelly
what
Jones.
We're here for, folks. Come on.
That's Kelly Jones. Kelly
Jones,
Jones.
who I just got in the transfer portal in NCAA football, college football 26.
What are we doing?
We got to sit down. Well, he didn't want to do a hip drop, I guess, but holy cow.
I mean, just you can't be manhandled like that, Kelly Jones. You can't let him do that to you.
You got him spinning you around like your Beauty from Beauty and the Beast in the ballroom.
He thought they were dancing. Concepcion thought he was playing football. Kelly, bless your heart.
Bless your heart. Tale as old as time. Beauty as can be. And your ass is spinning, bro. It's like the 3.
Oh
Come on, man.
What
Just
a great
waiting
week.
for BR guests to start rolling out, you know? You can tell I'm a dad.
You are a dad. Ben will sing Frozen out of nowhere with me, and luckily I have nieces, so I know what he's talking about. But once upon a time, I would have clowned him, but I don't anymore because I've had to listen
I'm 40
to that.
years young. I'm not cool, and my daughters both think I'm dumb, but they love
Hey,
me.
also, shout out to Destin S. Bryan on Twitter for sending
Yes,
Ben a couple plays. Really appreciate you, Destin.
Destin, my guy.
Yeah. Anybody that listens to our podcast regularly, if you see a play
Yes.
and it makes you go, bless your heart, tweet
Please.
it at Ben, at Spirit Ben, me at Sudu TV. We will 100% put it on the show next week. And for those of you that listen to the podcast that want to actually watch these plays, find us on Spotify or you follow either one of us on social. Usually they go up as segments anyways. Okay.
Well, Kelly Jones and Mississippi State, that's 14 consecutive SEC losses. Bless your heart. But y'all are better, and I picked you over Tennessee, and you almost had it.
Almost had it.
And Texas A&M, I'm sorry, I'm just not a believer.
Yeah.
I'm not.
As much as it doesn't make sense to say this to a lot of people, it makes sense to me because I'm saying it. I want to see more. Like I want to see you play someone for real. Like someone legit.
Play clean.
Yeah.
And really exert your dominance, show that you're, because I don't know, man. I thought that was a real missed opportunity.
What's their
for
best win?
State.
Notre Dame? And even that one was like a 1 touchdown.
It's Notre Dame. Yeah, it's Notre Dame.
And we don't believe in Notre Dame on this program.
Well, you don't. I think that Notre Dame by the end of the year. Well, I mean, look, some SEC teams are going to get into this playoff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if it comes down to 2-loss Notre Dame over pick your team, they're going to pick Notre Dame. I'm not, but even still, if you match them up, I think whoever the SEC sends to the college football player, if they were to draw like Notre Dame or Penn State, they would beat the brakes off of them. I really do. I just don't see any team. Ohio State's good. I love Oregon. I've been high on Oregon since the preseason. Everybody that's listening to me talk can vouch for it. And the fact that Oregon's doing that thing, man, I think it's awesome. So Oregon's a contender. Ohio State's a contender. But outside of that, man, I think the SEC is where you got to really start to find the favorite as far as national championship contenders. And I would put them up against even Miami. Miami's a good football team, but I don't know. There aren't Texas A&M.
I'm going to get to Miami in a second because I think that's just a foolish take, Ben. But that's fine. But let me finish with Texas A&M. Their wins
Mainly
are
just being stubborn at this point.
I think so. Which you can be stubborn.
Tend to do
you
that.
Can be stubborn. Okay, Texas A&M was beating UTSA and Utah State. They beat them pretty handedly. Notre Dame 41-40. Auburn 16-10. If Auburn doesn't give up, I mean, once again, I'm not taking away the victories. I'm just saying the way in which you've won does not excite me about you. Mississippi State 31-9, but as I said, Mississippi State, what was actually really good was A&M's defense, and I'll give you credit because Mississippi State's offense I think is way better than the way they played against you.
I do.
Shout out to your defense.
You kick their butt offensively, and if you can do that, man, they can't play from behind.
Sure.
But that was a real opportunity for State to go beat a team that I think is kind of on even footing with. I want to see more from Marcel Reed. I'm like you. I think Texas A&M defensively has got enough, but I just want to see some more.
Who's their toughest opponent? Missouri? I mean, they have LSU, but we don't know what to think of LSU.
That LSU game, though, is going to be telling for one of those two teams.
It's in Death Valley.
If LSU does what it should do in that game, which is beat them pretty handily, then what my suspicions of Texas A&M will have been confirmed, I think.
Yeah.
However, if it turns around and it goes the other way, LSU could have a really bad fall off, right? Like they could have Brian Kelly, we could have those kind of conversations. That game in particular is going to be a real telling game for one side or another, and both of those teams are going to desperately need it.
It's Florida this week, and I'm just looking at their big games. Florida, LSU in a couple weeks, Missouri right after. It's both, by the way, Arkansas, LSU, Missouri all on the road. We're not worried about Arkansas. LSU, Missouri both on the road. Those are probably your two toughest tests. Then you have South Carolina, Samford, and Texas. A&M's got a really good schedule to get into the playoff this year. But it's just your offense doesn't really excite me. Marcel Reed's kind of all over the place for me. And while you do have some weapons at the receiver spot, like I want to see more from your offense. And I think your defense is pretty solid. We'll leave it at that for A&M. All right, let me get to Miami here. You remember what I said a couple weeks ago about Miami? I said, Ben, I know some people are going to get mad at me and think I'm a fool for saying this, but this team reminds me of Kirby Smart's best teams at Georgia. And Ben said, stop it. Stop it, Sudu. Stop it, right?
I did. Yep.
And I'll say this. Right now, if you watch college football across the board, Miami is the most complete team in the country.
Agreed.
When I mean complete team, I mean each level of their team, they are good. You want to look at their offensive line. They push you around. They are physical. That reminds me of Kirby Smart's guys, Tate Ratledge, Cedric Van Pran, Dylan Fairchild. When you look at all those great offensive linemen that Georgia had on some of those great teams that would literally bully you and push you around, that are all starting in the NFL right now, that's what I see in Miami. They bully you around. They push you around. Look at their running backs. Look at how hard their running backs run the football. They run downhill. They run angry. And they move the ball. They move the football. They didn't run as efficiently the other night, but it's still ground and pound, physical run game, which is what those elite Kirby Smart teams always had. Their receivers, we talked about Malachi Toney, C.J. Daniels, a transfer from LSU. Georgia also had weapons in some of their best teams, Ladd McConkey, Brock Bowers, A.D. Mitchell before he went to Texas. I mean, there's tons of guys I can go to that UGA had on those teams. Quarterback, literally is a guy who played at Georgia, and if you look at his stats, very similar. I know some people are saying Beck is playing better than he was at Georgia. No. If you look at his stats, he's more efficient because the receivers aren't dropping balls, but he's actually a very similar quarterback to the way he was, especially if you look at his 2023 numbers when he was well protected and he had weapons and he had a solid run game. Carson Beck was really good, and some considered him a Heisman candidate. He's playing that way right now. Let's flip the side to defense. This is really what sells me on this Miami team being similar to Kirby Smart's best teams. Their defense is freaking violent. They're not there to just tackle you. They're there to hurt you. If you you could get a big play on them. Like, I think I saw a receiver catch a ball on the sideline the other night, Florida State, and they had some safety or corner just come in full force and absolutely wanted to knock the shit out of that guy. That's how they want to put fear into you. That is how they're playing right now. Everything Miami is doing right now, it literally reminds me of Georgia 2023, Georgia 2022. Now, Georgia 2022 was absolutely elite, and I'm in no way, shape, or form saying they are that replica of their team, but their style of play reminds me of some of those Kirby Smart teams from 2022, 2023, and that was my point. And on Saturday night, when they played Florida State, I just further believed what I said a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, that's how they're playing. They are the most complete team right now. And in a world of parity, like we talk about, where it's hard for teams to dominate each level of their offense or defense, Miami seems to have found a way to do it, whether that's through the portal or from recruiting. I said it in this, and the only difference is Mario Cristobal is not Kirby Smart. And Mario Cristobal himself has caused Miami to lose in the past. So I think the biggest challenge for Miami and the biggest threat to them going undefeated, which, by the way, their schedule lines up for them to go undefeated heading into the playoffs, Mario Cristobal is going to be the reason they don't, in my opinion. But if he has it together, his team's going to perform as they have done all season long because there is talent and they are freaking physical and they have a trigger man that will not turn the ball over as long as he's protected and his receivers are being efficient, and it doesn't always have to fall on him either. It's a recipe for success. I'm not saying Miami's going to win the national title, but I am saying Miami's going to go undefeated, and that is a really good football team come postseason time. So that's my rant on Miami.
I love it, and I should have given them more credit than I did to start. Carson Beck has been better. You nailed that one, and I think this weekend was a big test. Now, there's still some things I'm going to need to see from Miami, but, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt as far as Week 6 is concerned. Who's the best team in college football? The Miami Hurricanes. Throw up the U. Throw it up. They deserve it. They deserve their credit, especially coming from me.
They got Michael Irvin on the sidelines, amped up off God knows what.
My man, the big 8-8.
They had Ray Lewis do that intro to the game that had me ready to jump through the TV and strap up myself. I don't know, man. The U's got the U's got their swagger back right now.
I'm saying the U looks like the U. So I think there's a lot of truth to that. And much deserved props, well deserved props to the Miami Hurricanes because they are right now the best team in college football, in my opinion.
No doubt. All right, Ben, before we go, let's look at some of these matchups coming up. I'll just let you do predictions for these. We don't have to really deep dive into them.
All right. So we do rapid fire picks?
Let's go rapid fire picks on these. Number 1, Ohio State at number 22, Illinois. Luke Altmaier looked like a world beater against Purdue. And they've rebounded nicely after that thrashing at the hands of Indiana.
They have. I'm still going Ohio State.
Okay, Ohio State in that one. Number 10, Bama.
Do you know the point spread, money lines, all that stuff?
I have not looked at those.
Okay, don't worry about it. Here we go. Keep going.
All right, we got number 10, Bama, number 19, Missouri. I think this is Bama's toughest test outside of Georgia for the season. They're at Missouri this week.
At Missouri does change it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And we're big Ahmad Hardy and Drew Perbula fans on this show.
I love Ahmad Hardy. I've been beating that Bo Perbula drum for a long time. Yeah. Still going to pick Alabama. I just think they're trending in the right direction. But, yeah, I mean, that's an evenly matched game. That's a coin flip. That's a pick 'em. Yeah. And typically I would go with the home team in a pick 'em, especially with a running back that leads the nation in missed tackles and Ahmad Hardy. But I just really like what Alabama's putting together right now.
I think Ahmad Hardy is the decider in that one.
If he's just the one that decides it, then it's Missouri. You know what I mean?
I think he's the decider, but I also think the way Ferguson is playing right now, you can't go against that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Bama on that. But are you going Bama too?
I'm going Bama, but fully acknowledging
Simpson. I don't know why I just called him Ferguson. By the way, Ty Simpson.
I was trying to remember who Ferguson was. But yeah, Simpson. I'm going with Bama too. And both Sudu and I completely are will be not surprised at all. We'll go, oh, of course it happened when we come back on Monday and Missouri beats Alabama. I'm picking Bama, but man, that's like the sneaky best game of the weekend. That could be really fun.
I can't wait for that one. All right, number 8, Indiana at number 2, Oregon. They're at Autzen Stadium. We know how good Oregon has looked, but Indiana under our guy Cignetti, absolute monsters.
Ball coach.
What do you think?
Oregon.
On
Dante Moore is the leading candidate for the Heisman.
I like Indiana's defense a lot, but I think because it's a home game and the way Dante Moore's playing, we saw the way they played in Happy Valley. I'm going to take Oregon as well.
Tell me Dante Moore doesn't look like Jaden Daniels.
He does. I could 100% see that.
I'm telling you.
Good for Dante Moore, by the way. Really happy for him, the way he's playing. All right, Florida at number 6, A&M. Florida, obviously, we saw how well their defense has played all season long. Their offense showed some semblance of, hey, we can maybe put something together. They got all this momentum. We talked about Billy Napier is dangerous when his job is on the line. What do you think? In College Station, Florida or A&M?
I'm doing it. Florida.
That's my upset of the week as well. I'm going to take the Florida Gators over number 6 Texas A&M.
There's nobody more dangerous no coach is more dangerous than Billy Napier when he's sitting on a hot seat. Not when he's hot seat adjacent, when he's sitting square on that bad boy.
Yeah. And look, Texas A&M, if your offense is as good as or is better than I think, this is a great week to prove it because I think Florida is one of the best defenses in the country. So here's your opportunity, Marcel Reed.
That's also why Sudu's picking Florida to beat you because he's been beating the drum of that defense for a long time, even as they struggled. I'm going Florida. I need more out of Texas A&M. Now, if you do beat them, Texas A&M, I promise you the first thing Game Runs Deep's going to talk about is maybe we should reassess how we feel about Texas A&M. Yeah. They ain't pushing me over right now, Florida.
I'm taking Florida as well. Number 12, Georgia at Auburn. This is the game that many believe, if Auburn loses, that will signal the Hugh Freeze era being over. You know how I feel about Georgia. They rebounded nicely after the loss to Bama. Obviously, Gunnar Stockton on the ground was awesome. They had some really creative play calling with Dylan Bell this week. Absolutely annihilated Kentucky, who, by the way, like isn't a great team, obviously, but still an good SEC win for the Dogs. Now they have to go into Jordan-Hare.
Georgia's going to win this game. What are we
you
doing?
Even let me build up Jordan-Hare and how crazy they get.
Georgia's going to win this game. The vibes, they aren't great right now on the Plains. They aren't great.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think Georgia wins this one pretty easily as well. And the final game, the most exciting one of the week, Washington State coming to Vaught-Hemingway Stadium to play the number 4 Ole Miss Fighting Rebels. Who you got?
We both are picking Ole Miss to beat the crap out of Washington State. My question is, do you see Austin Simmons this weekend? That's the real question. And speaking of, since we're talking about Ole Miss, I want to thank so many who have sponsored this podcast and are coming on, like one of them being B&A Bank. Since we're talking about Ole Miss in Washington State this weekend, they're proud sponsors here of Game Runs Deep of
Bank
me.
of New Albany, baby.
Bank of New Albany. Carolyn Brownson.
Huge shout out. I've never met Carolyn, but Carolyn, I love you already just because of how glowingly Ben talks about you.
She's the best, and she will be a friend to you if you have anything as far as banking needs, financial needs. These are my people. They're from New Albany, Mississippi.
If I ever move back to North Mississippi, you better believe I'm going to
This is where you do it. This is where you do for all of it, personal, business banking, whatever it might be, checking, savings account. I'm not an adult. Don't ask me all the things. Loans, mortgages, all the financial stuff. B&A has multiple branches in Tupelo and New Albany, 662-534-8171. Great people. Contact them today. Proud sponsor of us. Have been such a friend to me my entire life. So I wanted to give them a shout out. But we both know who we're picking here. The question is, does Austin Simmons play?
Okay, I was going to ask you this because here's the thing. If you let Austin Simmons into this game, you are signaling that Austin Simmons is healthy enough to play. So are you creating more of a controversy by letting Austin Simmons get in? Whether it doesn't matter when. It could be garbage time or whatever. Is that going to be an issue if you let Austin Simmons play? Or do you tell Austin Simmons, just keep healing? You may be good enough to play. You can run on it. Keep healing. And you just let Trinidad keep playing and just see how that plays out. What's the strategy here?
I honestly don't have a clue how you handle this. I really don't. I mean, but Lane, here's the difference with Lane Kiffin, and this is what makes him who he is. He will make the call that is in the best interest of the business he is the CEO and responsible for. Like he will make the best decision, whatever that looks like. If you made me guess, Austin Simmons is going to get into the game at some point this weekend, because if it were otherwise and it wasn't this whole, not drama, but storyline around it, if the backup, if Ole Miss jumps ahead 50-10 and it's the fourth quarter, you would expect the backup to come in and play. So I just think we could learn something about where this stands, because we've been saying for weeks now, this is settled law right now. Right now, Trinidad Chambliss is number 3 in the country according to A3's Heisman poll.
Yeah.
He's not going to start.
Right.
But what it means for Austin moving forward, and we've talked about that ad nauseum. Go watch other Game Runs Deep. We've really tried to be fair to all parties involved, because I think Austin's been a tremendous teammate through this.
Oh, 100%. Man.
Tremendous.
I pointed to his social media last week. I saw another post from him. He posted the Magnolia Bowl trophy sitting in its case. Like he has been, there's a picture of him celebrating with Trinidad after the game. I've loved Austin Simmons before he started at Ole Miss. I still love Austin Simmons. I think he's awesome. I think he's going to be a great quarterback for Ole Miss.
Nothing has changed about his future and how people think
he's the best. And he's proving to me that, because I had questions about, well, he's young. He's never led a college football team before. He watched Jackson Dart do it. But he's got to do it himself now. And now I'm so much more confident in him as a leader, as a teammate, the type of person Austin Simmons is, his personality. I'm just becoming more of a fan of his. I just hope to God.
It calls back to Bradley Sowell, former Ole Miss offensive lineman, 8-year NFL vet, who comes on my Talk of Champions podcast. Search wherever you get your podcast every single week. Sponsored in part by Drew Moak of USA Benefits Group. I got to get my ad plugs in here. I forgot. We got an hour and a half in. But seriously, you bring up a really good point. If you're unhappy with or shopping your health insurance, call Drew Moak of USA Benefits Group, 601-953-8449. Drew offers regular health, dental, vision, and Medicare supplement plans. He's an Ole Miss grad, and he services 35 different carriers and will make sure you are in the right plan or you have the right plan for you and your family. Call him today. It's Drew Moak, USA Benefits Group, 601-953-8449. Visit him at his website at quoteswithdrew.com, quoteswithdrew.com. But Bradley South said this on Talk for Champions last week. He's like, I'd have less respect or lose respect for Austin Simmons if he were to leave at the end of the year because nothing has changed. So you make a really good point. Not only is he being a good teammate, but he's shown incredible leadership. When you think of the leaders of this Ole Miss football team, Austin Simmons still is one of them. And that has not changed. Nothing has changed. The question becomes, if he does play this weekend, like a lot of national media folks will have to stop talking about this. It's settled law, as we've been saying here on Game Runs Deep for weeks now. So while the game itself isn't particularly interesting, because if Ole Miss doesn't beat the crap out of Washington State, we'll have those conversations if we have
That'll
to.
be a very interesting episode next week. If Ole Miss somehow were to lose to Wazoo.
I didn't say lose, but like, what if they won 21-17? Maybe we just say a win's a win's a win. It doesn't really matter. But like, they've been preparing for him since last week with the bye week. The question for me is, if Austin Simmons gets in, one, what does he look like? How healthy is he? And also what that means for Trinidad Chambliss, which is very clear. If he comes in behind him as his backup, he is his backup. So that's what to watch for in Oxford, Mississippi this Saturday.
No doubt about it. So you're taking the Rebels, right? Just to I'm messing with you.
God, you idiot!
Don't take
this. This is what you do, man. You're gonna have people on Twitter getting confused, going, "Ben, you picked Washington State to beat us." No, it's just Sudu trolling you. All right, don't let Sudu do this. Don't let that pretty face, as my daughter calls him, the pretty Sudu, and that charm fool you. Yes, the Rebels to beat Washington State this weekend. Hopefully, it's not close, because if it's close.
A lot of questions.
We're not going to have
I was asking somebody the other day. I was like, Washington State always produces like the best quarterback in the transfer portal.
Right?
Like, who's their quarterback this year? Like, are we going to get to see the guy that's going to lead like Oregon to Natty next year or something? Over like, who's their quarterback, man?
Let's see, who's their Zevi Eckhouse? Zevi.
Oh, I'm looking at Jackson Potter right now.
Okay, I thought.
So they got two guys that have played. This shows you how much. Like, as much as I say I love college football, I'm sorry to inform you, I've not
watched the Cougars in Washington State in the Pac-2, man. I haven't done that. I'm sorry.
So Jackson Potter is 67 for 95, 604 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, while Zevi Eckhouse is 49 for 75, 540 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Well, Glenn Waddle will say it perfectly on Saturday.
Zevi
Eckhouse for the first down.
It's like they got to Levi but got bored.
I know. I wonder what his back is.
On it.
That is a cool one. Zevi Eckhouse from Culver City, California.
Sounds very German.
Yeah, he is a little. It sounds German or something.
German.
And then, dude, their running back, Kirby Voorhees. You think he's related to Jason?
It is Halloween. Hopefully there's not a murder in Oxford, Mississippi at the hands of the Cougars on Saturday. The Rebels will get done. I'm sorry.
It looks like this guy's got he's their leading rusher, no touchdowns. Who's the other back?
His last
Zevi Eckhouse is the 2 rushing touchdowns. Okay.
Our guy Zevi.
Zevi Eckhouse. Maybe he's the starter.
Zoltan, folks. Let's go.
Their 2 losses, their wins are Idaho, San Diego State, and Colorado State. Their losses are North Texas 59-10 and Washington 59-24.
North Texas is a good team. But I don't think they're 40 points up on you. Come on, man. All right, so that's what I'm saying. Hopefully this weekend in Oxford, Mississippi, it'll be the easy
It's a
game.
toss-up for me, Ben. I don't know.
You dick. Just let Austin get in there and let's see how healthy he is and how he performs, But Trinidad Chambliss, man, number 3 in the Heisman poll this week. What a story he's been. If he finishes it off with, like, not just a playoff appearance, but goodness gracious, what if he got Ole Miss to the title game and won? One of the greatest college football stories you'll ever hear. 0-star recruit, Ferris State D2.
They will make a movie about the guy, and it's about time. The Blind Side is not the only movie representing Ole Miss.
That's the thing, because everybody to a man would say that they hated how they were portraying that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, my guy Mike, Big Mike. I mean, he went to the mattresses to say he hated how he was portraying that movie.
I was going to say, a controversial movie now. At the time, it was very celebrated, but now, not so much.
Yeah, Sandra Bullock won a friggin' Oscar off that thing.
I know. Yeah.
I mean,
now the best thing Ole Miss has is that Lane Kiffin documentary, which, by the way, everybody and their grandmother keeps texting me about. If you haven't seen it, it's awesome.
It is awesome.
It's a great
really
representation of just Kiffin's journey. I know some Ole Miss fans were like, well, why weren't we in there more? And I'm like, guys, it's not about us. It's about him.
But
It's
see,
about
then that
him.
allows Florida fans to go, see, y'all weren't even in there that much. I told you he's going to be in the swamp.
But have you heard of how glowingly he talks about Oxford? That should be the sign to Florida
He will
fans.
tell you it helped save his life. That's not hyperbolic.
Unless you're Texas,
fans.
Ohio State, or Bama, I don't think you're getting him.
Even if you're those teams, I mean, again, New York Giants. I don't know, man.
I think an NFL shot. What about the Las Vegas Raiders again, man? No more Al Davis.
Yeah. But Vegas doesn't have well, he can go anywhere he wants. He's got a private jet. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I don't know if he loved the Vegas. I don't think that's who
he
Lane
doesn't
Kiffin
drink
is
anymore either. I don't
think that's who Lane Kiffin is anymore. Now, if you told me, but like New York's got a bunch of incredible like hot yoga places. You know,
that is true.
He can go like live in a borough somewhere where he can be artsy fartsy and just hang out.
We might be getting off the rails, so I'm just going to bring this up. You see the mystery woman in all his pictures this weekend? We went to go watch.
It's the reconciliation with he and his ex-wife.
Oh, is it? Because I'm not going to talk about rumors on this podcast. We'll do that privately.
Yeah, exactly. I don't do that.
We'll do that privately. All right. Thank you all so much for tuning into another episode of Game Runs Deep. That has been Garrett. Follow him at Spirit Ben on Twitter. I'm Sudu TV. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I'm not on Facebook. Don't even try.
Go to the Ole Miss Spirit. omspirit.com. Sign up for $1. Changed back to the Ole Miss Spirit.
Is it official? It's
official.
Let's go.
Ole Miss Spirit is OM Spirit. Thanks to all of you who have supported me and the Spirit for so long. Come visit us over at the Ole Miss on 3 site, omspirit.com.
That just changed during this podcast then.
Yeah.
You just got a text.
Well, it switched over, yeah.
Let's go. So can Neil and Chase have Rebel Grove back?
It's not my call, but like I told them, I've made very clear it wasn't fair, in my opinion, that it was named Rebel Grove when it was switched over without my consent. So that, in my opinion, belongs to Neil and Chase, but that's Shannon's property, Shannon Terra's property. So I don't speak above my pay grade stuff. Yeah. But as someone who believes in fairness and equitability, of course that should be Neil and Chase's name.
As someone who grew up in that community and followed the Ole Miss Spirit and Rebel Grove for all those years, it is only right. If this website that Chuck Ronzaville and Ben Garrett are on is Ole Miss Spirit, and it's only right that the website Neil McCready and Chase Parham are on is Rebel Grove. That is just things returning to how they should be.
And if we all are ever together, then we'll change it to Rebel Grove. I don't care. But for
it
now,
could be Rebel Spirit at that point. I mean, we'll figure it out. But the Ole Miss Spirit is a fixture. Quick story. I know we're rambling. Quick story. I was staying with my buddy Jack's family when I was in Oxford for the Ole Miss LSU game, and his dad had a great story, and it just shows you Chuck's legacy. Jack's dad was in the Navy, and he was getting set to be deployed, and I think he was in San Diego or something. And the day before he gets deployed, he calls Chuck. Said, hey, I got to renew my subscription to the Ole Miss Spirit, the old magazine that Chuck started out with. And he said, he's in early in Oxford or something. He calls him, and Chuck picks up, hello? Oh, hey, man. Like, he said, oh, did I wake you up? No, it's no problem, buddy. What do you need? And his dad's like, hey, I'm about to be deployed. I'm in the Navy. I'm in San Diego. I need to renew my subscription to the Spirit. And apparently Chuck's like, oh, hold on, give me a second. He gets up, and he said Chuck renewed his thing, and before he was sent off or whatever, he got his magazine for the ship. And he was just telling me the story about Chuck and the Ole Miss Spirit. And in that moment, I felt like, damn, I really wish that name could come back. And it makes me very happy as an alum of the Ole Miss Spirit, a place that gave me an opportunity when I was in college that directly led to me getting my first job in Memphis. Good to know that the Ole Miss Spirit is back. We're going to leave it on that note. Thank you all for tuning in. Love you, Benjamin. We'll see y'all next week.